I call the Honourable Member Eugenie Sage.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. And on behalf of the Green Party, we extend our condolences to the family and friends of people on the Easy Rider for their tragic loss. Co-leader Matiria Ture is attending the tangi of some of the victims of that accident in Fobo Strait. And our good wishes to them in working through all of the grief that they are feeling. The Green Party supports this bill, and certainly I congratulate Eric Roy for his leadership in expanding the revenue sources for local councils to include this levy. Because I think what we're seeing with the government's proposed local government reforms and the government's concern about the rise in rate spending is that instead of looking constructively with local councils about other potential revenue streams, the government is focusing very much on rates. And this bill is very wise because it is diversifying that revenue stream. And as other members have pointed out, there is an advantage in having a consistent nationwide levy similar to the one that is proposed here, so that we don't get a succession of local bills proposing ad hoc measures by which councils can endeavour to provide the infrastructure that our tourists need. We've had issues in areas like the Damien O'Connor's electorate, where councils have been unable to fund dump stations, the range of public toilets that are needed for visitors. And what the Southland bill does is provide some funding for that for a small community which has got limited rates funding. Now, rather than have those ad hoc series of local bills, I support, as I said in my second reading speech, a much more nationwide contestable fund which local authorities could apply to get funding for local government infrastructure to service visitors. But it's ironic, I think, that this bill is going forward at the same time that the government is looking to constrain the core services of local authorities. And I noticed that in the bill, some of the funding that the levy will generate is to go to the provision of walking tracks and amenity areas close to the national park. And I wonder whether that sort of function will be part or considered part of the core functions of local government under the changes to the competencies that are being proposed to the Local Government Act. And it is that breadth of function that is really important for local authorities, because the Southland District Council has recognised the vital role that tourists play in the Southland and the national economy, and through the bill is seeking to ensure that they maintain the areas that tourists come to visit, that they provide the services that tourists expect, such as a solid jetty, good walking tracks, good toilet facilities, and being able to fund that. Now, if we have local councils having their competencies restricted, then it does not encourage them to take a wide look at the economic activities that can occur in their areas. And if they are to be restricted to providing good quality local infrastructure, does that mean that some of those community development functions that the Southland District Council is seeking to help fund through this bill won't be able to be progressed? And would also note, Mr Speaker, that 86% of Rakiura, Stewart Island is conservation land. If we are going to maintain good infrastructure, we need to maintain the natural infrastructure as well, because of the ecosystem services that those wildlands on Rakiura provide, and that means undertaking good pest control so that visitors, when they come here, can enjoy the full diversity of the bird life, the other wildlife, the plant communities which haven't been devastated by possums and deer. So continuing to, instead of cutting the Department of Conservation's funding, actually increasing it so that they can do adequate pest control is equally important in maintaining the infrastructure on our Stewart Island, because those forested and natural areas are part of that natural infrastructure. So we support the bill, and we would encourage Mr Roy to show the leadership that he has provided here to encouraging his colleagues to look at diversifying the revenue streams for local councils elsewhere in New Zealand through a return of the regional fuel tax, and to recognise the value in councils engaging in all of the competencies that they are currently able to under the Local Government Act 2002. So commend the bill to this House and please to support it. Thank you.
I call the honourable